Okay, we understand that COM2US wants to release new monsters in unique and attractive style. However, many of us think that the Fire Onimusha was overbalanced with no proper internal testing. We cannot help but wonder whether the test was insufficient or if it was intended for COM2US to release the new monsters in an overbalanced condition. Users feel that the recent new monsters usually contained overbalanced monsters and get nerfed after a fixed amount of time. We think this has changed from the way Summoners War has been servicing. That is true with the recent monsters, but also listen, guys. Like this is my take as well. Like if I'm gonna go against their take, I agree with this, but there is also like a double-edged sword to this. I feel like COM2US also release underwhelming monsters so that when they buff them, people get the opposite reaction of a monster getting nerfed, you know? There are some monsters that are overbalanced, so they have to nerf it. And there are some monsters that are very underwhelming, so they have to buff it. So I don't know how they're gonna address that, but yeah. First, we're extremely sorry to release new monsters with insufficient tests. We started to design the Fire Onimusha with the concept of not making critical hits. And we focused on the monsters having power in deal and tankiness. Wait, power and deal. And we focused on the monster having power in deal and tankiness, rather than granting various harmful effects. However, the team was worried that due to the characteristics, users may think that the monster won't inflict good damage. They're telling us we're stupid, guys. Okay, never mind. And that is that it doesn't have that much of useful effects if they just read the skill description. In fact, we have some negative internal feedback of the Fire Onimusha from our first balance test result, and we continue to test out the monster by adjusting balance, mainly by increasing the value. While working on the later parts of the test, the critical rate issue arose. This issue was also considered to be an important issue for the game balance, and the design QA members took their time to confirm the issue. We should have conducted a lot of tests after the Onimusha final balance value was set, but we failed to do so and the monster was released. Why did they fail to do so? That is a good question, Taki. There was a number of issues that affected the process of balancing the Fire Onimusha, but regardless of the issue, it is clearly our fault that the monster was released in an overbalanced condition with the insufficient tests. We want to assure you that it is absolutely not our purpose to create overbalanced monsters. When new characters are released, we want users to have interest in the new units. To do so, we put a lot of efforts to make the new monsters to be effective while not hurting the balance, and put them into competition against the monsters that already are in the game. We should have run enough tests to avoid any issues, but our team failed to do so. Listen, at least they're admitting, okay? At least they're admitting shit, okay? So, we'll have to see going forward. Next question. We were very disappointed. Let's do this. We were very disappointed with the Fire Onimusha nerf and how it was notified. Many users spent their time and resources to upgrade and use the Fire Onimusha after release. A sudden nerf notice without proper compensation to the users who upgraded the Fire Onimusha made many users mad and disappointed, losing trust in COM2US. For top-tier guilds, we were surprised with the overbalanced Fire Onimusha that was released during the Siege Battle Tournament, but many decided to use the Onimusha in the tournament as it could play an important role. We not only upgraded the monsters, but also put a lot of time and effort to figure out how to use them strategically. We thought we could bring a new change in the fixed 4-star defenses formations. Seeing the nerf with no clear schedule, nerf notice with no clear schedule seemed like COM2US was ignoring the users and their efforts. Yo, what's up, Gojo? How you doing, people? Again, they're apologizing. Let's read up to this part. We think the fact that new monsters were released in an overbalanced condition with the lack of testing is the fundamental issue. Fire Onimusha was affecting various contents, having complaints increasing over the time. And we thought we needed to take care of this issue as soon as possible. That is correct. That is 100% correct. That is how a company should address shit. Our time also discussed about the monster balancing being overlapped with the Siege Battle Tournament period. But we thought the Fire Onimusha dominating in the Siege Battle Tournament will give a negative impact on the guilds that have been preparing for the future for the tournament, especially since the 4-star bases play a big impact on the Siege Battle. In this context, we had concern about whether the balance patch modification should be made before the start of the final. For the client update, we needed to consider many factors such as internal testings, market review, and announced that we cannot predict the exact time required. Because of this, we announced the balance modification update without a clear time of the time. We've learned that our users put a great amount of time and effort to prepare for the Siege Battle Tournament. This is like this part tells us the disconnect that we like the players have to get, like what the developers have towards the player. That is a disconnect. This is 100% a disconnect, but it's good that they've learned. And it was our fault to notify the Fire notify the Fire Onimusha balance modification update without considering that the users have already set the Fire Onimusha to use in the Siege Battle Tournament. To be honest, our lack of understanding of the situation and users participating in the Siege Battle Tournament led to the wrong judgment. We are sorry. So, not only do we learn from just this that they're disconnected, hopefully this will be addressed as well, okay? We need the connection. You can have a company being disconnected, but you need their team to not be disconnected, to give us proper fucking updates, okay? No one should feel sorry for COM2US, okay? No one should. It is their job to provide the service, okay? It is exactly the same thing as companies that I work, like the company that I work for. If we provide shit service, we don't blame our customers. We blame ourselves for providing shit services. So, you don't need to white knight COM2US, but you can give them good feedback depending if, you can give them praise for stuff that they do good, you know? Anyways, like these are pretty good transparent information. The feeling of deprivation that users have, okay, so this is another question. The feeling of deprivation that users who have upgraded the Fire Onimusha feel is big. We think the compensation given to all users from the first balance modification notice was not enough compared to the upgrade cost of Fire Onimusha. This perhaps made more users angry. We think there should be more reasonable compensation and responses, such as the Devilmon refund. Like, so they're gonna implement a refund status, guys. They're gonna implement that. I don't know if it's just gonna be for this. You know what? Let's read before I go into this. Let's read to this part. We had a concern that if compensation was paid when the monster balance is downgraded, it could be a significant restriction even if downgrade was made in later balance patch and affect the goal of achieving the overall balance in the game. However, The regular balance patch and the balance patch that takes place right after the new monsters release are different. Dude, let me highlight more. We concluded that we need to consider refunding the upgrade cost for this case where we downgrade the monsters via urgent update due to serious issue after the new monsters release, instead of regular balance patch, and decided to refund the upgrade cost of Fire Unomusha to the users who have upgraded Fire Unomusha. However, please note that the details of refund process is still in planning stage and we need some time to develop the function. Thus, we would like to inform the method and time first and open the application page. After the discussion, we would like to explain the Fire Unomusha upgrade cost refund process. You can get refund for the cost used to upgrade the Fire Unomusha via separate page. The requested Fire Unomusha will be reset to the condition of a 4-star level 1 unawakened. So you can basically 6-star and awaken a Onimusha and basically refund it back to its original condition, which is a 4-star unawakened one. All right. So basically everything that you have used in the Fire Unomusha, whether it be a Devilmon or a Onimusha, you will be refunded. Even the awakening material, even the evolution material, and if you used some angel mons to level it up, you're gonna get it back. You're gonna get all of that back. So my take on the fact that it's a good thing to implement a refund option, especially for an immediate nerf, is to not create a fucking, what do you call it, a separation between the players, you know? Like, what they're creating is a basically a separation between like free-to-play and whales, you know? And there, like, from what I've noticed is that a lot of people fucking hate the people or complain that whales are complaining, and vice versa, you know? Whales are complaining that free-to-play players are not complaining, you know? And it will just be a clash between the players instead of addressing it to the correct platform, which is fucking COM2US. COM2US has to fucking correct this, not the players, you know? Use 8 Devilmon on Taki, don't say more, to refund Devilmons. But you're gonna get back. So, listen, guys. Now we've been rewarded with 2 Devilmons for free, okay? Everyone got 2 Devilmons for free just because of the mistakes that COM2US made, okay? Also, if you fully Devilmon your Onimusha, Fire Unomusha, which is the one that is getting nerfed, you'll be able to get the whole shit back, okay? If you Devilmon your Onimusha, you will get your shit back. So that is good, okay? That is 100% good. How about my runes and re-up that I spent on him? The runes and re-up that you spent on him can be used for other units, but like, it's weird. I'm not gonna say the way that you play, Zalfius, but I don't ever re-up a rune for a specific unit. I never do it. I never do it. I'm not gonna say it's your fault or anything, but what you do with your runes in that process, which is also able to be used on other units, in my opinion, that is your way of addressing how you want to play. Like, I'm not, like, the issue is, I'm just gonna, no hate here, okay? Alright, guys, listen. If you accuse each other for being idiots or anything, don't, okay? Only I can do that. Realm, I time you out, you little shit. Zalfius, I got you back, man. Don't worry, man. Anyways. If you're upgrading rune specific to the unit, that is okay. But the thing about this specific unit is that it's also shared with other in the family, like the other Onimushas. So the runes that you upgrade for Fire Onimusha can still be used for other Onimushas. Marantino Habibi, how you doing? What's up, Sippy? What's up, Value? What's up, guys? So we're getting back stuff that we implemented within that specific monster that is being nerfed. This kind of an incident should never happen again in the future, but it will be impossible that there will be no overbalanced characters at all, even with the enhanced test. This also happens to other global major companies. We want to know what your plan is to prevent this issue from occurring again. That is a pretty big question. This is a pretty fucking big question. It's gonna be, and I'm gonna be very surprised if they could answer it immediately. First of all, we will proceed with more thorough monster balance tests by having more balanced design and QA employees. That's nice. They're gonna hire more people. Our goal is to prevent this type of issue from occurring again, but we would like to have a structural system that can respond more quickly instead of providing such an immature response if similar issues occur. So, they're agreeing that the response that they gave was pretty immature. Not immature in the sense that they're kids, guys, but immature that it was hastily provided. Immature doesn't mean in this instance that they're fucking kids, okay? It means that it was a hastily decision. I don't know if that's the word I'm trying to look for, but yeah. For the Fire in Numusha case, we need a client update to change the balance, making it more difficult to set the proper timing of the response. Changing the effects of the skill or changing the skill to a completely new one do require a client update, but we'd like to take this opportunity to make the monster balance patch be possible through adding data or releasing download patches without client updates by improving our developing structure. Oh, nice! With this, we would be able to respond to this kind of issue quickly. All right, so finally, you guys are upgrading your core, hopefully. We're also considering a global ban feature where the target monster cannot be used in all contents. Wait, what? In all contents for a certain... Wait, what? Wait. For a certain period of time to prepare... for exceptional situations that we need to more... Oh, okay, never mind. I read this as something else, guys. Never mind. I thought it was going to be like they're going to implement RTA rotations. I was semi-excited. I read this incorrectly. If the proper balance test is required after blocking the monster from being used... okay, never mind. Let's read this. Also, the release timing of the new monsters was also an issue for this case. We plan to not release the new monsters too close to major events, that's good, such as Siege Battle Tournament and Legend Tournament. But if the timing overlaps, we're considering restricting the use of new units in the corresponding content. Okay, so basically what they're saying, and I misinterpreted because I thought it was something else, but they're saying that if there is a big event, they will basically ban the use of that unit for that big event. If they can't release the monster in between events. That is what they're saying. So if there's a huge event like Siege Tournament or RTA Tournament, whatever the fuck, they will not implement the usage of that unit. That is a correct response. If they can't do any other... if they can't take other measures. That is a good response. The balance patch cycle is also a problem. The current cycle is too long. Yes! Okay, some real fucking questions. Nice! That is just for me. Okay, I like this. Alright? We're reading this nicely. The current cycle is too long and the schedule is not clear. Users have to question and discuss whether or not the balance patch will take place. And the balance patch affects the World Arena and Siege Battle significantly. 100%. This incident never happened from the previous new character release or regular balance patches. If the team is preparing the balance patch after setting up the deadline when each content seasons begins, it would be good to hear a clear schedule earlier than now. In the case of Siege Battle Tournament, there is a condition for joining the guild for 1 month, and there are often cases where users cannot receive rewards due to the 1 month join restriction. Users should not have to calculate by themselves the duration every time and should be informed when the exact schedule is sooner. All right, let's see the response. Let's read this. We think that it's most natural to have balance patch every 3 months from the period of the Siege Battle and World Arena season closing. We tried to make the cycle to be predictable by having the balance patch with the cycle. But the last balance patch, which was supposed to be released in December, was postponed to January due to the market review issue and caused more confusion. So they had internal issues. From this year, we will have regular balance patch once every 3 months, including this year's late December. They said that before as well, guys. I don't know. Like, they said this before, okay? It's like we have to see what they're fucking gonna do, okay? They've said the exact same thing. This whole shit. They've said the exact same thing, okay? And also, the market review issue is a big issue for the company, especially when they want to provide for their shareholders. So they can't make a big fucking change because it might create a dip and it might give them bad fucking reviews. So we'll have to see. Like, at this point, listen, guys, I'm just gonna, exactly what Penguin says, false promises. We'll have to see. They've said this before. We'll see going forward. In summary, we will proceed as follows. Siege Battle season closing, World Arena season closing, balance patch every 3 months. We will make sure that the balance patch does not cause confusion for the Siege Battle and World Arena. It's difficult to schedule new monster and second awakened monsters after considering all major events. As mentioned earlier, we will try to operate the game flexibly, such as limiting the new monsters from certain contents. Yes. So, listen, it's so weird that they couldn't really come up to this conclusion even fucking before. It is extremely weird to me. But reading this market review issue tells me a lot of information, okay? Just this gives me a lot of information in how COM2US acts when it comes to updates. And this is also like every fucking major company acts like this, of course. It's not a new thing. Like, I understand that they have to like keep themselves healthy in that aspect. But it's so weird that they couldn't just add what they're going to add going forward, which is limiting the use of the new monster. That is like, if this prohibited them to release a monster, then they could have also banned the monsters from being used in the events. It's weird that it comes to this like so late that they have to do it right now, but I guess it all comes together. Let's read this. The monsters targeted for the balance patch are mainly selected from the World Arena content. We are aware that the game focuses a lot on this content, and we're not trying to suggest any disagreement in this direction. However, we think that the reason of the Fire Numusha overbalance becoming more serious issue was that it's been a while that a monster that could impact the Siege Battle meta was released. I mean, that is semi-true. For a 4-star, of course, that is true. For a 4-star, that is true. But when it comes to 5 stars, it's different. Many of us, of course, expected a nerf. But since we like playing the Siege Battle content, we put our time and effort upgrading the monsters and creating decks. We really had fun coming up with a useful decks because it's been a while that we made some new moves and changes in the Siege Battle. That is correct. But it's not just because of the monsters. Like, this question can be manipulated a bit, okay? They don't have to implement new monsters or change new monsters. They can also change the fucking Siege Battle, which is very repetitive. It's not that the monsters are the issues. It's also the platform that we're playing on that is the issue, which is 4-star towers, etc. The 5-star towers, they should put some conditions to them, which will change the meta a bit, which will also make it more fun for people to create new decks, as they're saying here. Okay, it's not only the monsters, it's also the platform. I think that they should do some changes to Siege. All right. We agree that there was actually such a bias when selecting the target monsters for the balance patch. We will consider a wide range of balance targets and try to bring more changes and provide options in the Siege battle meta. We would like to set a goal where more diverse monsters can be utilized in the Siege battle, attack and defense decks. Okay, and guild discussing tactics, which leads to the fun of playing the Siege battle. However, we believe that we have to consider the guilds of all tiers. It's difficult for beginners to compose multiple defense decks, so we would like to consider the tempo and intensity of the meta change. I mean, the thing is, they could do that as well. Like, they could create a different gap between certain level of guilds, you know? That is something they can do. If there is a C1 guild, then they can have access to different towers, you know? However, if that happens, then there are people that can abuse it as well. That's also a thing, I guess. In low-level sieges, there mostly is no proper meta. Yes, that is true. That is true. But they're not talking about proper meta. They're talking about being able to compose multiple defense decks, which that is true. Like early players, they can't really do multiple defenses. But if you're in a low-level guild or something, I would like to see COM2US maybe implement a thing where you get the siege that is dependent on your guild level. Like, and I don't know. I guess that will be pretty hard to do as well because they don't really have any conditions to it. Like, if you're level 50, then you're compared to, like, every other level 50, you know? When you reach level 50 in Summoner's War, you just, like, that's the world level. And how do you compare it? Maybe they can track data, like how many monsters, how many runes, etc., quad runes, etc. Like, they can implement conditions to that, but that's a lot of data, you know? They can do it. It's possible, but there is limitations to their game as well, which I hope they will address. I hope that they will actually do something to their game to so that the core engine of the game has enough has good enough performance to be able to implement new changes like that. Anyways, we were able to hear about the meta and phenomena that are actually happening in the current siege battle from the semi-final guild representatives. Various stories of which monsters and decks are being used. The situation from the beginning to the end of the siege battle. How these change in the siege battle tournament. How the low tier and the top tiers play pattern and goal differ. How the play pattern differs according to the guild members' status, even from the top tier groups, etc., were shared. As it's a high-stress content, the guild representative gave their opinion to provide update that is not focused on the top-tier guilds, but the update that can cover the users in all levels. We learned that there were many parts that our team wasn't aware of, and we will monitor further and work on the issues that need to be improved. So this is also like, this is good transparency, guys. Okay, this shows that, like, they don't really, the devs don't know everything, guys. Okay, this is something that everyone should fucking consider and realize that the dev teams don't know fucking everything. That is why there's a QA team. And the QA team, if they don't play a game like Summoner's War, which is very different from the early game of the game and end game of the game, you will have a different approach to how the game functions. So they need high-level players to give their feedback. They also need low-level players to give their feedback so that they can make a decision. However, I feel I'm biased because I want endgame changes, okay? But yeah. Anyways. Last question. Our community lost a lot of trust, starting with the critical hit issue. Wait. Sorry, what did he say? But the guild's cumulative points that can act as a level indication is at guild info. Yeah, but cumulative points is, in my opinion, not enough of conditions. Louder. It's not enough as a condition. It's unfortunately not enough as a condition because you have to also consider the rune quality. You have to consider how many fucking monster a player has. That also differs, and cumulative point is just, it's almost the same for all guilds, you know? It's not enough as a level indication, unfortunately. It has to be more conditioned, like extremely more conditioned. Cumulative, I actually don't know how to pronounce it, guys. I'm trying my best. Our community lost a lot of trust, starting with the critical hit issue to the Fire Onimusha balance. Users are questioning why the measurement of the reappraisal stone purchase error is different from the incident 4 years ago. And there's also a much newer incident as well, guys, with, you know, like the LD shit, you know? Anyways, some are also questioning the rate of reappraisal and sub-properties. Yeah, I mean, this is, of course, like, we can't really tell, alright? Because, yeah, we can't really tell if fishy shit happens within a company, you know? Anyways, it's 100% our fault of not acknowledging the critical rate issue internally and the fact that we had to find out about it from the users. We are sorry. After the critical rate issue, we rechecked other rates and probabilities and confirmed that there were no additional issues. We will continue to check again to see if there were any missing part. Now that they've said this and someone else fucking finds something else, this is going to be a big fucking pain in their ass, but hopefully we can trust them on this aspect. In the case of reappraisal stones, there was an issue of the purchase count not counting properly when the pack was sold during the incorrect sale period. And we will fix the system so no additional purchases can be made if the issue occurs again. 4 years ago, we didn't have the log of data of the rune power-ups that could proceed with the reappraisal stone retrieval. We added the log after the incident, thus it was possible to retrieve for this case. There have been a lot of accidents due to our fault, and we want to say that we're learning and improving from our mistakes. That is 100% something we want to hear. But at the same time, we want to see it happen as well. In the case of reappraisal stones and rune power-up rates, we want to say that the probability of all sub-properties is the same. And the value that's granted within the value range also has the same probability. We're even actively talking to even display these figures in the game. We believe that if the goal is too far, users lose interest and give up. And if the goal is too close, the goal's value gets lost and users lose sense of accomplishment. That is 100% accurate. In the terms of game balance, we do not think there is any merit to varying the probability between rune properties. There we go. For example, we've seen posts where users questioning if we reduce the rune power-up rate during a certain period of time. We do not think it's beneficial for us to make users consume more mana stones by modifying the power-up rate. It's more of a risk to have the users losing a goal than value of mana stones. It's okay, that's pretty fucking good that they have that perception. And it's important that the goal of this game is at the most suitable distance for the proper balance in the game. We cannot remember the exact time, but we have already seen statistics on the probabilities of our game games accumulating and publishing via overseas site. Since there are still being accumulated and calculated from somewhere, and since the questions and issues can always be answered by the statistics, we have zero intention to change the probabilities, and we are aware that changing such numbers can be found out soon. As notified earlier, the second part will be released 9th. So, listen. I think all of this was pretty good. Very good. Some of the questions, like the siege one, I think it was this one with the monster balances. Especially when they they pinpointed to the siege battle content. The siege battle is not only the monster deck, okay? It's not just the monsters that makes it exciting to build a deck. It's also the towers where you build it on. If the towers are always this fucking same, there's not gonna be enough variety in monsters that will make you excited to create a new deck, you know? So you're limiting it. If you limit it to monsters only, then you're gonna exhaust the amount of decks you can create, you know? So if you change the platform to be more diverse, like limiting some towers to like elements, limiting towers to like the same comps and shit, or opposite of that, then you can create more fun towers and more fun decks, you know, if they do that. 12-star tower or something like that. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Because it's not only monsters, it's also the limitation of the platform. I think all of this was pretty good. This was pretty fucking good. And it's really weird that it has to come to this for COM2US to... Like, it's not really weird, okay? Like, if anyone thinks this is weird, it's not. Because if a... Don't fix what's not broken, you know? That is every company's fucking, most of the time, their point of view and shit. Okay? They only fix, quote, when broken. Okay? End of quote. They only do that. Or when it's necessary. Okay? So when users like these from Korea force them to acknowledge some issues, that is porto fucking bueno. Okay? Porto fucking bueno. But at this point, guys, this is all theoretical. Okay? They have made promises before, and we've been fucked before. But this is 2021. This is 2021. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's different. Hopefully it is fucking different. We want to see some diversity. We want to see some changes. And this is pretty fucking big. This is actually pretty fucking big. Hopefully the next questions are not limited within the new monsters, you know? They are talking about balance patches and siege and stuff. But I feel like they should have... Listen, guys. I wish I was in this meeting. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I wish I was in this meeting, okay? But I want to see what the next questions are. I really want to see what the next questions are. So, because I would have formulated this a bit differently. I would have formulated this question a bit differently. I mean, this question, like with the siege battle content and stuff. But we'll see. We'll see. It's a good one. It's a good one. Hopefully the next one is also as good.